Hey guys, I'm cmasupra and patch 1.31 is out for War Thunder. So there's actually a lot of things that are new in this update, and the first and most obvious one is that the hangar no longer has a roof or walls. It's also in the middle of a runway, so whenever you want to go to your hangar, just make sure that there's no other planes taking off or landing, because obviously you don't want to lose one of your planes while you're just looking at it in the hangar. That would be absolutely terrible. And also, now that there's no roof above the hangar, you can blind yourself by looking at the sun from the safety or the relative safety of your hangar. You used to have to go into a fight to look at the sun and blind yourself, but now you can do it from the relative safety of your hangar. There's actually some other new things in this game as well, now that 1.31 is out. There are now clans in the game, and I don't really know anything about them. All I know is they are squadrons here. Nope, not available yet. Apparently it's not there, but I didn't really check it out much. Apparently they say they added them, but I don't know. I don't really care much about that feature, but apparently clans are added and they're somewhere in here. But some other changes are there's two new arcade maps. They are Top of the World, which is a snowy map, and there is Cliff Coast, which is a not snowy map, but it has lots of mountains and cliffs that make it quite fun to fly on. So we will actually see the Cliff Coast map in this video. There's actually a lot of new planes as well, and there's actually, I keep saying actually, but there are a lot of new planes. So first off, the Americans. Let's go through every single new plane, because there's a lot of new planes, but it'll be fast to go through them, looking at the list. So first off, there's the P-36A and P-36C, these two planes, both of which are called the Hawk, because the P-36 is the Hawk. Now, these are rank 2 to 3 planes. First one's rank 2, second one's rank 3, and they are actually pretty decent for rank 3. The top speed's 568 kilometers an hour, which is quite fast for rank 3. I mean, it's not like super fast compared to the maximum ranks you'll see when you're flying a rank 3 plane. Like, you'll see rank 6 aircraft sometimes, and those planes are even faster than this, but they're quite good for tier 3 in terms of their stats, and we will actually get to see the P-36s in this video. I flew a game with them, and that's why I have them down here. So some other new planes are the XP-50 and the XP-55, both of which are premium planes. So first off is the XP-55 Ascender, and this thing looks weird. It has the elevators in the nose, and it has the engine in the back. So if you get an enemy shooting at you from the back, they're going to kill your engine instead of your elevators, which, and logically thinking, is a better thing, but I think the engine is more vulnerable than the elevators, so it may not be a good thing, I don't know. But this is a rank 8 aircraft. It costs 3,900 gold, which I did look up how to buy it because I wanted to buy this plane. I was actually going to spend money on this game for the first time ever. But then I looked it up, and 3,900 gold is about 25 bucks, which is half the cost of a normal game. I would be spending half of the money that I would intend to spend on the game, because I would intend to spend 50 on a normal game. I'd be spending half the money on a single plane. That just doesn't sound right. So I am not going to be buying it, at least not yet, but apparently they're going to be updating the economic model, so maybe I will at some point. The XP-50 is also a new plane. This is a heavy fighter, and it is at rank 14, so it's high up there, if I say so. That's my opinion anyway. And I don't really know anything about it, but it's twin-engined, it's a heavy fighter. It's obviously not going to be like a Spitfire in terms of how well it fights. That would be a bit weird, seeing a plane this big flying like a Spitfire. I need to go through this faster. I am spending too much time on each plane. So going over to the USSR, the Russians, we have a 115 BIS on the list. Where is that plane? There it is. It's a reserve plane. Okay. So it's a biplane, but they added another reserve plane to the Russians, which is kind of interesting. So you had the I-15 and then the I-15 BIS, and I thought they had more reserve planes. Wasn't there like 3 I-15s? Maybe I'm wrong about that, but I feel like there were. Moving on, we also have a new MiG-315, which is not a jet, despite the fact that it's called a MiG, and most people associate MiG with jet. It is not a jet, it is a propeller plane at rank 4. And it doesn't have a great armament. I mean, it has a single 12.7mm machine gun with 300 rounds, which is not great, and then two 7.62mm machine guns with 1500 rounds, which is decent. It does turn pretty fast, and it has a very high top speed for a rank 4 aircraft, so that is the trade-off. You get a low armament, but you get good turning speed and good top speed, so that's what that plane is about. I have not flown it, so I don't know much about it. The only new planes that I have flown are the P-36s. So moving on, once again, still on the Russians, we have a new Lag 3 out. So before we just had the Lag 335, which is a really good plane. It even has a 20mm cannon at rank 3, so it is quite well armed. And now we have the Lag 366, which 35 times 2 is not 66. I thought that at first when I saw this new plane, or saw the name of the plane, but nope. 35 times 2 is 70, not 66. But this is basically the same in terms of its armament against the Lag 335. It's just faster, basically. It even has the exact same turn time of 21.5 seconds, so it's just faster. That's the only difference. In terms of how much ammo it carries, it appears to carry the same ammo, and I notice I have bombs on my Lag 335. Does this have bombs available to it? It does have bombs. Okay. So it's basically the same thing, just faster. So if you like the Lag 335 like I do, you'll probably like the Lag 366. So another new plane in the Russians is the LA-7B-20. And that is this plane right here. Now, it looks like it has 3 cannons with 130 rounds each, which is pretty good. High top speed, good turning time, and it's rank 13. I don't know anything about the plane, and I can't compare it to the LA-7 or LA-5, so you'll have to try it yourself. The Yak-15P. I'm just going down the list here. I really need to start speeding this up, but here we have the very first jet fighter for the Russians, apparently. Apparently they didn't have one before. I'm not quite sure that's true. Wasn't the MiG-15 here before? I don't know, but apparently they're saying the Yak-15 and the Yak-15P, which are both new in this, are the first jet fighters. I think they're lying. I'm pretty sure the MiG was here, the MiG-15. So those two are new. They are both jet fighters. They look kind of weird with the jet under their nose, under the cockpit, really. The last new plane for the Russians is the Yak-9P. And where is the Yak-9P? There it is. It's right above the Yak-15s. So looks like it comes with 1 cannon and no, 3 cannons, but they're different cannons even though they're the same millimeters. That's interesting. They're 2 different types of cannons. I wonder how that would work. That is something to find out when I reach rank 14, which is probably not going to be anytime soon. That's something I'm curious about. But yeah, that's a new plane. Going on to the Japanese, because the British have no new planes and neither do the Germans. Japanese, they have 4 new planes, and they're all the same plane. They're the Ki-45 series, basically. They're not exactly the same plane, but they're all heavy fighters, I believe. Is that right? They are all heavy fighters. They just have different... They have slight differences, kind of like the Beaufighters have slight differences, and the Dornier 217Js have slight differences. Not really. One has bombs, one doesn't. Those are identical otherwise. But, yeah, Japanese have more fighters, so they have more planes, period. They didn't have very many planes before. So it looks like these 4 planes actually make up their own column in the tech tree, so that's interesting. I guess it is true. We didn't have any other twin-engine Japanese fighters in the tech tree before these 4 planes. So they do make up their own tree. So now that I've done all that talking about the new planes, there is still more to talk about that's new in this patch. Oh my gosh, there is so much new. So I talked about the new plans. I'm going through my list here. Next is new tutorials. I haven't actually tried any, but apparently there's new tutorials. So if we go to game modes, tutorials, what does that star mean? I don't actually know. But apparently there's new tutorials. Maybe they just redid them because it seems that I have done them. So, yeah. That means I've done it. Yeah, apparently there's just one new tutorial here, takeoff and landing, and maybe they redid some of the tutorials to make more sense. Moving on. Actually, I said I haven't done any of the tutorials that are new. There is one non-interactive tutorial that we will see in this video that I just looked at because it was available right there and very obvious and very quick. So some other changes that happened in this update, which we're getting to the end of my list, is they have made some damage model changes, and the most significant one of those damage model changes is that now, if you're flying a plane that's water-cooled instead of air-cooled, if your water tank gets shot in the plane, it'll leak out water, and then slowly your engine will overheat. In patch 1.29, the previous patch, you had to have your oil tank shot in order to have your engine die over time, but now it can die over time if your water tank is shot. So if you're flying a water-cooled plane, you are probably more vulnerable than if you were flying an air-cooled plane. They also made some flight model changes, the most significant of which is that all the American planes are now better. They all just fly better, and we will take a look at that in this video. So I just thought I'd mention that because they mentioned it, and it is worth mentioning because we're going to take a look at that in the video. So other changes, there are a lot of other changes in this patch, but like I said, we will look at those in this video during some games. So let's go to some games. I actually have two games I want to show you in this video. First off is flying the Airacobra, one of the Airacobras. Yeah, one of the Airacobras here, and that does not look stacked anymore. It used to look stacked, and I liked that. Now it's not so obvious, it's just bigger. So does that mean I was wrong with the Russians? Yeah, this is a stack. It just doesn't look like a stack. Okay. But anyways, like I said, two games that I want to show you in this video. First one's flying the Airacobra, and we'll be taking a look at whether or not the Americans have improved over patch 1.29. And then the second one is going to be looking at the P-36C Hawks, as well as one of the new arcade maps, Cliff Coast. So let's get to those games. Actually, guys, there was something I forgot to mention. There are actually some new planes I forgot. Imagine that, even though I already spent so much time talking about these new planes. This will actually go really quickly, so don't worry about that. There's 5 new planes, and they are identical to existing planes. They just look different, and they give you different rewards. So basically, each faction now has a special plane. The Americans have a Thatch's Buffalo, which is identical to the original Buffalo that the Americans have. The only differences are the way it looks. If we look at it in the hangar, load the plane. There we go. It has like green stripes, green engine, stuff like that. If we look at the original Buffalo, you can see it looks different. That's basically the only difference. There's another difference as well, though. The Thatch's Buffalo has a plus 20% reward, so you get double the reward compared to the standard Buffalo, and then you also get plus 100% experience points, so you basically get double experience for flying this plane, and you only get regular experience for flying the standard Buffalo. Now, before I go through all the factions and show you the new planes, one thing I should say is that because every faction has a new plane, and as you can see, I clearly have this one, but I didn't spend any gold to buy it. The way I got it was the first game you fly, no matter what kind and with what faction, the first game you fly, you will unlock one of the planes. And the way you pick which plane you unlock is, if you fly as the Americans in your first game, you get that Thatch's Buffalo. If you fly as the Germans, you get the German special plane that's new. And same applies to all the different factions. So I flew Americans as my first one, so I got Thatch's Buffalo. So that is my special plane. Now if I go fly a game as the Germans, I will not get the German special plane that they added as new. So the first game you fly in patch 1.31, pick your country intelligently, because you'll unlock a new plane for that country, as you will actually see in the first game that I want to show you in this video. So yeah, let's go through each of the planes. So first off is Thatch's Buffalo. just a repainted regular Buffalo with extra reward and experience points. And then we go over to the Germans, and they get a Marcolin CR42CN, which is once again identical to the already existing CR42CN. I don't even think I've heard of that plane before. Maybe CR42. Okay, yeah, here we go. So they do have a CR42 already. I was like, wait a second, I thought it was supposed to be a replica of an already existing one. And it is. It's identical to this one. Yeah, stats are the same. So it's identical, but once again, you get double the reward and double the experience, basically, for flying this one. And then we go over to the Russians, and they have a Zhukovsky's I-153M62. It's another biplane. All of these are rank 1, by the way. I should mention that. All of them are rank 1, and all of them cost 250 Golden Eagles, which is exactly how much you get for doing tutorial missions. So if you're interested in that, just do tutorials, and you can get it, unless you've already spent your tutorial gold, in which case you have to spend real money. So, yeah, here we have Zhukovsky's I-153, and I can't really show it to you, because I don't want to pay for it, but there's that. And then we get Tux Gladiator Mark II over here, same as the Gladiator Mark II, right over here. And then we have an A5M4, Hagiri's A5M4. I guess that's how you pronounce it. I am sure it's wrong because it is Japanese and they have a weird way of pronouncing things. But yeah, A5M4. So those are the 5 new planes that each faction gets, and you can unlock yours by flying as whichever country you pick, and then you get that special plane. So now let's go on to the 2 games that I mentioned before. Alright guys, so here's the first game I want to look at, the first of the 2, and we're going to be flying the Airacobra on a map that is not new, so not a new plane and not a new map, but what we want to look at in this video is whether or not the American planes are better, like Gaijin have said they are. Here you're actually seeing one of the tutorial screens. It's a still image, and it teaches you all the controls and the basics, in case you were not aware of them. It just says press F1 to show the help there, so I pressed F1, and that's what I got. So that's one of the new tutorials, and I would say it looked kind of decent, but it also looked kind of crowded, and you obviously don't want to be looking at that while you are flying a plane with enemies coming at you, so don't read and fly, basically. It's like don't drink and drive, but instead it's don't read and fly, now that they've added things to read as you fly. So, like I said, in this particular game, I want to look at whether or not the Americans are any better than they used to be in terms of their flight model. And wow, oh, that was a close clear. That was a close call right there. I almost hit his wreckage. I pulled up when I should have pulled down instead. But the first thing I want to point out right there is the fact that I was able to kill him so quickly. Before patch 1.31 and patch 1.29, I actually had a lot of trouble killing anything with the 37mm cannon on the Airacobra. But it seems now, and you'll see it in this game, that the cannon is actually useful and kills things. It doesn't just damage them, it actually kills them like it's supposed to. So they have improved the effectiveness of the cannon, but that really has nothing to do with the flight model. Instead, it has to do with the new damage models that have been put in the game. And like I said in the introduction to this video, the most significant change was the addition of water containers and the possibility of those being shot and then making your engine overheat. This is really dangerous right here, going head-on against a bow fighter. There we go. So, like I said, the most significant change to the damage model was the water tank, but that's not the only change. They also made some changes to things like how strong each material is and things like that. Just small changes like that, but it overall has changed the way damage is done in the game, and it seems like it has definitely improved. So this cannon is actually useful. The plane actually flies a bit better now as well. I have noticed that. You're not really going to see it in this video, but I have noticed that it flies a bit better, and I'm having a much easier time killing enemies and actually staying on target in this plane now. Now, one of the things that I should mention about being changed in the whole game is there's now a lot more recoil with cannons when you're shooting them. So it's going to be harder to keep your cursor on target. Not really your cursor, is it? Your crosshair. There we go. Keep your crosshair on target because if you have cannons, you'll have more recoil to deal with. And then, well, obviously if you have more recoil, it's harder to stay on target. So they have added some recoil, and you will have already seen it in this video, and you'll see it again more often in this video. More often. That was not the right phrase at all. More in this video. So you've seen it in this video, and you're also going to see some more of it in this video. So watch how my crosshair acted on that TBF when I was firing. Because I am talking about recoil right now. You would have seen that the plane was kind of jerking left and right when I was firing, and that was because of the recoil. And there's definitely, like I said, more recoil in this game. Now, my plane is damaged, so I was considering landing on a carrier and hopefully getting repaired. I wasn't really sure if you could get repaired on this map on carriers. I have been told yes, and I've been told no, so I don't really know, but I was considering landing on it, and then I saw it doesn't look the same. So apparently carriers have been changed to match whatever faction would have been fighting where you are fighting. So sometimes you'll see American carriers, I guess, and sometimes you'll see Japanese. I don't think you'll ever see German because they never had carriers. Maybe British, maybe Russian, I don't know. I don't think Russians had carriers either. But there are now different carriers in the game as well, so that's interesting. Now here I'm surprised I'm not blacking out. I feel like they have made changes to the way you black out, because normally under a 7G load in any plane, I would have blacked out right there to where I could barely see the enemy. But as you saw, I could actually see him quite well. It didn't go completely black. It was just like a dark gray, but I could still see everything. In patch 1.29, if you tried pulling a 7G turn, which is a lot normally, but it's not much in War Thunder, you wouldn't have been able to see anything outside like the very middle of your screen. So I think they've changed something with the blacking out. I think they have definitely changed it. I'm making so many English mistakes right now, I don't even care. So, like I said, my plane is damaged, but I'm still getting lots of kills, and that's something you will have noticed in this video, probably, is that even though I have a large gaping hole in my left wing, you can see it very clearly in the video, my plane is still pretty easy to fly, and it's making turns really well, so I feel like they have improved the American flight model, just like they said they have, because normally in an Air Cobra before patch 1.31, I would not have been able to make that turn with a damaged wing like the wing that I have right now. So I don't really know what else to talk about right now, so we're going to talk about the game and how interesting it is. So I'm chasing a Spitfire. I really don't have anything else to talk about, but things will come up as they show themselves. Oh, look at the Spitfire, he just crashed, or the Hurricane I meant, not the Spitfire there. I changed targets. Ooh, can I get this guy? Nope. Enemy kill assist. Oh well. Dornier 217J. Oh, or an N, one of the two. But Dornier 217J, those things take a beating. I actually do want to try killing one of those with the 37mm in this gun, or this plane, because it, like I said before, in patch 1.29, the 37mm was not very effective, but in this version, patch 1.31, it seems like it really is quite effective, so I want to try killing a Dornier 217, because those things take a beating. They really do. I guess I can go ahead and mention the fact that I'm actually running low on fuel in this plane right now. When I got hit and got the gaping hole in my wing, I actually had a fuel leak that lasted a really long time, so one of the changes they made, which they actually didn't mention anywhere, but I do know they made it because I have, let's just say I have sources. One of the changes they made is that self-sealing fuel tanks are more realistic now. They don't seal as quickly now, and so I actually lost a lot of fuel when I got hit and got that gaping hole in my wing. So I'm actually very, very low on fuel right now. I have only a few minutes left of fuel in this plane, so the fact that I am still flying is only because I don't know where I can land on this map. I don't know if I can land on the carriers, I don't know if I can land on the airfield. I mean, I do know now that I can't land on the airfield because I actually did end up landing on the airfield at some point later in this video. And, ooh, look at that. The target is too far away is what it said in the bottom of the screen. So I don't know what that was about. I assumed that I had middle clicked, which I know I did middle click to target a plane, but I don't know why it said the target is too far away. That was interesting. I have no idea what brought that up, but that has apparently been added because I have never seen that before. So that is something new. Fuel 145 remaining. Oh yeah, I am very low on fuel. So here you probably think I was being really stupid there shooting at a destroyer, but what I wanted to test was, as you've seen in this game, my 37 mil has actually been doing quite a bit of damage, and I wanted to test, is it strong enough to pierce a destroyer? And I don't know the answer after doing that. It may or may not be, because I did get 90 lions for hitting the destroyer, so maybe if you just hit it enough times it'll die. I don't know, but I wanted to try it, and I tried it, and the results are inconclusive. I still don't know if it works or not. I imagine it would, though, because even with heavy tanks, people say you can't kill them without good cannons, but in reality, I think you can kill them with machine guns. It just takes a lot of machine gun fire. I'm pretty sure I've killed a heavy tank with machine guns. It was in patch like 1.27, which was 2 patches ago, more or less. But I feel like that has happened, so I don't know. I wanted to try doing it against a destroyer, and the results were inconclusive. Area win streak times 5, so I'm clearly doing quite well in this Era Cobra, so just like I've said this whole game, the Americans seem to be better, the damage models seem to allow this cannon to actually be effective, and the flight models on the American planes actually seem to be better. So now I am going to land, because if you look at the top left, look at how much fuel I have left. 8 seconds. I have 8 seconds worth of fuel remaining, so I figure, well, I'm going to be forced to land anyways. Let's just try to land in the middle of this airfield thingy, which may or may not repair me. So I do exactly that. I try to land on it, and you can see my right leg is not even touching the ground, which I thought was kind of interesting. Now it is, though. So, unlike before, it doesn't automatically flatten you out. In Arcade, it used to flatten you out when you tried to land on an airfield, but not in this patch, apparently. So I've successfully landed, and as you can see at the bottom left, it's not telling me that it's going to repair me, so I'm just like, okay, well, let's just hold down J and leave the aircraft. At least it's sitting on an airfield, not blown up. So next up, I'm going to be flying the TBF, not the F6F that I clicked on. I clicked on the wrong plane on accident. I meant to click on the TBF. There we go, because I wanted the torpedo. And I wanted the torpedo because the remaining enemy ground targets are ships, and the torpedo is probably the best option for killing ships rather than bombs. I know I've put many thousands of pounds of bombs on carriers and destroyers and not killed them, so they're very resistant to bombs, but every time I've used a torpedo, it has killed it in one hit, so torpedoes are the way to go. Now looking at the bottom left, there's 2 enemy ground targets remaining and 2 friendly ground targets remaining, so this game is very, very close because it is ground strike, not domination, so number of ground targets remaining does matter. So we'll have to see if I am able to launch my torpedo at the carrier and if I kill it. I apparently got 5 kills in the Air Cobra before having to land it because I ran out of fuel, of all things. So I am targeting the carrier, way over there, 10 kilometers away, and now there's only 1 ground target remaining for each side. This game is extremely close. Who is gonna win this game? I know the answer, and I know the answer, I'll say that much, but I'm not gonna tell you guys the answer. Instead, you get to watch and find out yourselves. I am mean like that. Um, here I am diving as fast as I can. I'm even using WEP, Wartime Emergency Power, to try and close the gap between me and the carrier as fast as I can, because I really want that torpedo kill, because torpedo kills are just plain awesome, and it is the last remaining ground target, so I want to kill it as fast as I can to avoid the enemies killing ours before we kill theirs. So I'm diving, trying to do it as fast as I can. You can see on the right side of my wing, it says too high, but now it doesn't because now I am low enough to actually launch the torpedo. So if you don't know how to launch a torpedo, you just do this and press space. You just go low, go flat, and then press space. Now, see I'm lined up on the carrier, and I press space around now, and then I fly away. And then we're going to look at my bomb, or my torpedo, I mean. It's not even going to the carrier. It's going to the right. What's up with that? That was a bit weird, so I just thought I'd point that out. So maybe torpedoes are inaccurate now. But here we can see the stats screen, the very new stats screen. They have added a new stats screen now, and they also unlocked the Thatch's F2A1 Buffalo. So I got a new aircraft, and on the far left, new metal, or decals I mean, and then bonus experience for flying the first game in this country for today. Ended up with 5 air kills in the Airacobra, nothing in the other plane that I flew the TBF, and 12,000 lions, so the new stat screen is basically the same as the old one, it's just more glossy and glamified now. So now we're going to go on to the second game that I want to show you in this video, and then the video should be about over after that. So let's go on to the second game, where I will show you the new P-36 Hawk and one of the new maps called Cliff Coast. Alright guys, here we are in the second game for this video and the final game for this video. So I've made a lineup in Americans of the 2 buffaloes I have unlocked, one of which is Thatch's Buffalo, and the other 2 planes I've used are the P-36A and the P-36C, both of which are the Hawk. So the only difference between them is the rank 2 has 2 machine guns and the rank 3 has 4 machine guns. Other than that, their stats are all the same, so I decided to fly the tier 3 one with the 4 machine guns because obviously that's the one I'd prefer to fly. It's better. So first off, I did fire some machine gun bullets, and I wanted to see how much recoil this plane has, because like I said in the first game of this video with the Airacobra, there is more recoil in this game now in patch 1.31, and it turns out that there's not much recoil with this plane at all. Now, I have formed an opinion on this plane from this one match that I've flown with it, and I would say that it is a decent plane if you can fly it correctly. It is one of the more energy fighter planes at rank 3. It has a decent top speed, but just an okay turning time. It's not great, it's 24 seconds, 24.1 I believe to be exact. So it is more of an energy fighter, a boom and zoom fighter, so you have to fly it like that. And so I'm going at 550 kilometers an hour, and here you can see I am struggling with the rudder. Oh my gosh. Okay, this thing does not have a rudder at all at high speed. You can see I wasn't turning at all with the rudder. It was doing nothing, just like it's doing nothing here. So one big tip if you choose to fly this plane, don't try to use the rudder at high speeds. So even though it is an energy fighter, it doesn't have a very good rudder, and it also doesn't have a very good roll time. As you can see, I am just holding down the D key, and it is rolling very, very slowly, so you can't really use the elevators to account for the bad rudder. Instead, you just have to deal with the fact that you can't aim very fast with this thing at high speeds. Now, you will see in this video that I actually do quite well in this at low speeds, but because it's an energy fighter, you can't go too low speed, so it kind of makes a problem with the aircraft, because obviously if you can't go too fast, but you do have to go fast because it's an energy fighter that doesn't have a very good turn time, it kind of works against itself. So that is something you have to consider if you choose to fly this P-36 Hawk. There we go, aircraft destroyed. That took a while on the HE-111. So, like I said, you do have to be aware of the fact that if you go too fast, you just simply cannot aim in this plane. And that was really close to a collision with that biplane there. I don't know what biplane it was, but that was really close. I'm pretty sure that my left wing went between the top and bottom wings of his. Like, I think it was that close. um, yeah, that was extremely close. But like I said, this plane, it doesn't turn too well at high speeds, but it does turn decently at low speeds. And so I'm basically gonna be flying this at low speeds in this video. And I am surprised that BF-109 did not go head-on against me, considering he has cannons and I don't. Maybe he just doesn't know this plane, because it is, after all, a new plane. So maybe he just didn't know it. Now, like I said, there's two new things in this particular game that I want to show you in this video. First off is the plane, and second off is the map. But we may have to talk about the map later, because right now I have a guy on my tail, and there's something I want to talk about with this guy, and that is how defensive is this plane? How strong is it? How much of a beating can it take? Because that always matters when you're flying a plane in this game. So we're going to find out together how strong this plane is, how much of a beating it can take. So what I have behind me is a BF-109, I believe. I believe that's what it was. Am I right? Yes, I am right. So it's a BF-109, which does have cannons, and you saw that he tried shooting me there. All I did was a simple roll, a very slow roll at that, because this plane does not roll very fast. And he had a lot of trouble hitting me, and now we're in a dogfight together. So you can clearly see that this P-36 Hawk does outturn the BF-109 F4 Trop at that, which is actually a really good BF-109. And so it's not bad at turning, it's just not great. One thing you will notice is that I'm actually trying to keep my speed low here, because I do know that if I go too fast, I won't be able to turn very well, and then the BF-109 will be able to outturn me and then kill me. So I did try to keep my speed low, and I did manage to get behind him because he turned around at some point, and he is so screwed now. Oh yes, the rudder worked, and I was able to lower my nose and shoot at the guy there. Didn't do any critical damage, but at least I was able to shoot at him with the rudder as my aiming tool. So, as you can clearly see, the rudder does work at low speeds. Now here I'm just firing all my machine guns, letting them all overheat because I really want to kill this thing, but I was not able to in that little piece, so I had to pull off. But then he goes down and I get the air kill. Apparently my third kill this game. So this plane is decent. You just have to be aware of the fact that you can't go too fast, but at the same time you have to fly it as an energy fighter, which, like I said already, works against itself, but there is a way you can fly this plane, and I do quite well in this. Now here, I am just rocking left and right because I wanted to test the rudder, like, how good is the rudder at low speed? And as you can see, it is quite good. I am able to use it to look up and down when my plane is sideways, so it's a decent rudder when you're at low speed, but not when you're at high speed. But its roll time, turning left and right, is terrible, low speed or high speed. Doesn't matter. Yay, I didn't even get hit by the hurricane. But like I said, one of the things I wanted to talk about in this second game is the map. And now we're going to get to see the map, because this is like perfect timing. So I have a guy on my tail, and I figured, well, I am already so low, I might as well go explore the map at this low altitude. So let's try to do that. We're going to go exploring the map with this guy on my tail, and it's really a question of who's the better pilot in this case, because when I'm going through things like that canyon I just went through, if you're the worst pilot, you're going to hit the walls, and so you actually can use the map against your opponent in that way, if you think they're not a very good pilot. What else is there to talk about with the map? You can see it has lots of cliffs. It is called Cliff Coast, so you would expect it to have lots of cliffs. I don't really know what else there is to say. It's lots of green, there's no snow, which I like. It actually looks pretty nice. Yeah, this plane takes a beating. I just got hit by the BF-109's cannons and survived. I did survive, even though I got a hole in my left wing, just like in the Cobra in the previous game. So that's interesting. What a coincidence. My left wing just gets destroyed in both games. Now, this Cliff Coast map, as you can see, is actually mountains and cliffs. It's not like just cliffs with plateaus. That would be a little weird. So it's mountains and cliffs, and so it actually does look quite nice. I'm not really sure where I was going with that, but I just wanted to mention the fact, I guess, that it's mountainous and it's cliffy. So maybe cliffed mountains on a coast. That should be the new name of it, instead of Cliffed Coast. No. It does have some water in it, which is where the coast part comes from, but it's not actually like on the coast of an ocean or something. You cannot see any ocean from here. So that part of the name is kind of weird. I don't know why I'm talking about the name. I should quit insulting myself. You guys are gonna stop watching the video. Self-insulting jokes. So, yeah. I should talk about the planes some more. So I did say it has 4 machine guns, and you can clearly see, when I was looking at the map there, that it had 4 machine guns. It said machine gun times 4. And the machine guns it has are actually 3 7.62mm machine guns, and 1 12.7mm machine gun. And here the rudder failed me again because I'm going too fast, and I am about to crash into the land. That was actually really close there. I don't know what happened, but it just would not pull up. Luckily, it did eventually when I stopped pulling on it so hard, so I don't know what that was about, but yeah, that was pretty close. So maybe there's some flaws with the plane and its flight model. Not like bugs, but things the plane is not good at doing, such as pulling up. Maybe it's not good at pulling up. But as I was saying, the machine guns, it has 3 small machine guns, 1 big machine gun, basically. So its firepower isn't too large, but it does have decent firepower for rank 3 and even the rank 2 one, which has 2 machine guns, 1 big, 1 small, it still has decent firepower. I mean, you can see so far in this game I've killed 4 people, and I'm even flying against rank 7 aircraft, I believe. I believe the BF-109 F4 is a rank 7 plane. So I'm flying against some decently high tier planes, considering that my plane is rank 3. So it is doing quite well, and I would imagine that the rank 2 version of this plane does decently against the planes it would see. Now here I am shooting at a Beaufighter, and the Beaufighter is notorious for being weak. It doesn't have very good armor or anything like that, and you can see I'm having lots of trouble shooting it down. So even though this plane does have 4 machine guns, it is decently armed as well, but it doesn't do too much damage with each bullet, so that's a downside of the plane, I guess you could say. Either that or I was just getting really unlucky against the Beaufighter and hitting it in non-critical places. I do get the assist though, and now I have a guy on my tail and my elevators have turned black on the damage model. So that is not a good thing. My elevators are black, means I probably can't control my plane very well. And now it turns out that I can control my plane. The elevators are not, like, gone. They're still there. So I can control my plane, I can turn, I can go up and down. However, the rolling speed of the plane is terrible, just like it was before the black wing and the black elevators, so I wasn't able to actually chase the guy who was shooting at me, even though he didn't kill me, which sucks, but I have to deal with that. So, well, there was something I wanted to say. What was that thing I wanted to say? Oh yeah, he shot me quite a few times there, as you saw. Like, before he came in front of me and I tried to roll onto him but failed to, he actually shot me quite a few times, so this plane does take quite a beating. That's one of the advantages of the plane. The advantages really are the fact that it takes quite a beating, and it's machine guns, I guess you could say. It's armament, it's guns, it's killing weapons, it's killing utensils. Killing utensils, that'll be the new name for guns, killing utensils. But yeah, those are the pros of the plane. The cons are the maneuverability at high speed, as well as its simple roll time. Now, this is the end of this second game, but I want you guys to watch this. Look at how many times I bounce trying to land here. Just bouncity bounce bounce. And the game ends before I can even land. I almost do it again, but then the plane bounces. I either failed at landing or the plane is very, very bouncy. And I don't know which one it is, but that's something that was just funny. So here, once again, we see the new stats screen, and apparently I get a reward for the first steps in the game. Like, what? This is not the first time I'm flying this plane. I mean, it is the first time I'm flying the plane, but not the first time I'm flying in this game. I am rank 6 in every country. So, I don't know what that was about, but I guess it's just what you get for flying a rank 3 aircraft. But in that game, I ended up with 7950 lions, so almost 8,000, and 4 kills in the P-36 Hawk. So I did go flawless in it, and it is a decent plane. You just have to remember the fact that you can't go too fast, but at the same time you have to use it like an energy fighter. So I think that's going to be it for this video, so there's nothing really else I want to talk about. So I'm going to say so again. So, I hope you all have enjoyed this video and found it informative, and I actually like patch 1.31 overall. I actually do. It's quite a good patch, but like I said, I hope you all found it informative and enjoyed it, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye, guys.